Welcome to the English Mystic Podcast. I'm your host, English Mystic, Dragon Shaman, Spirit Whisperer, and Mr. Explorer of all things seen and unseen. You're tuning in to a very special series honouring the epic Dragon Thunder Summit 2025, a worldwide gathering of visionaries, dragon channels, energy workers and soul-shifting guides. The summit brought together 36 incredible speakers from across the world, each sharing their unique gifts, wisdom and connection with the dragon realms. In this podcast series, we're diving deep, one episode at a time, into the essence of each speaker, their transmission, their gifts, and all the healing and awakening and dragon connections they've brought forward. To explore more about each speaker or to access the full summit replays, visit www.dragonthunder2025.com. Now breathe deep, call in your dragons, and let's step through the portal together. Our next speaker is Katara Sky, an intuitive healer and cosmic weaver. She shares with us her story of birthing her dragon son and her journey to self-love and power. She also emphasizes the importance of grounding, staying hydrated and opening one's heart. And she shares a drum journey and discusses the importance of direction and steerage.
I'm so honored to be introducing our beautiful Katara Sky to all of you. I'm going to share a little bit about you, if you don't mind. And let me put on my wizened glasses here. My elder self needs these now. So Katara Sky is an intuitive healer, channel, and cosmic weaver. She is a mother of dragons and a soul guide. Her mission is to help facilitate conscious purpose-seeking people to be more deeply remember who they are and reclaim their sacred power so that they can co-create life of joy, fulfillment, and no purpose. And she's giving us a talk today on the dragon Mother Phoenix Daughter. And she shares her own story of birthing her son, her dragon son, and the journey to self-love and power. So I want to invite you to embrace my dear sister Katara. We've had such a beautiful connection, even ourselves in relationship to our sons. I don't know. I shared about that in my talk last night in Australia, just so you know.
Oh,
I
wonderful.
think it's amazing that we're getting to be here together now. So I really am so happy to hear what you're going to share with us.
Thank you for the beautiful welcome. And I'm just loving all the points of connection. Like, I've managed to catch a few speakers today, and it was Yumiko from Japan. Then I was also listening to Alessandra, who's in Italy, and just those connections because they mentioned the obviously Japanese dragons and whatnot. And so I'll just begin by saying my son, who is a dragon. His name is Ryu, which actually means dragon. And so this is the story that Kelly and I are kind of referring to. I guess it would be a year back now. In June of last year, I was in Japan, and there was, just lots of information and dragons coming through. So points of connection is Anushe Rastelan. Yes, I wanted to say thank you for all the crystal drops, and lovely to actually connect with you online. I actually am in your Royal Lion group on Telegram. I was like, oh, how fascinating, we're all connected. We're all connected. So, crystal drops. I just actually wanted to share some of the crystals that also wanted to be part of today's session. And I'll start with a Lemurian. So, I hope it's clear enough. This particular Lemurian is actually called Holy Dragon. And it helps us to obviously connect to our inner dragon, but has a lot of the Lemurian codes. I know that we just spoke of Atlantis, but I've really felt that the Lemurian energy is what wanted to come through today. Another Lemurian, this one is a record keeper. So, for those who work with crystals, and especially the Lemurians, they carry so much information and helps us to connect to their frequencies, but also all that we can remember from them as well. And of course, we cannot be complete without seeing the dragon crystals. I have the lovely gold pyrite dragon and the black dragon who has decided to be part of today. So, a big hello to all my dragon sisters and brothers. Yes, I see some Lemurian dragons. I think we're so much and so many different pieces of different dragons and different frequencies. Can we really ever be just one or in one lineage? I don't know. So today, maybe it is the Lemurian dragons that are coming through. Maybe it is something else. And as I mentioned, I was catching other people's talks, and I've been feeling such the high vibes of the day. Like my heart is fluttering. It's been fluttering for hours. Or maybe I'm just feeling the energy of everyone as my time to come online to speak was drawing nearer and nearer. And much like our beloved guest and our last speaker who said, oh, not sure of, what she was going to speak about, even though I gave Kevin and, all for the write-up purposes, what I was going to speak about, as it was coming closer and closer, I kept asking the dragons, what am I going to speak about? Like, is it just, again, the story of the birth of my son? And I've had the pleasure of speaking already to Kelly and actually Barbara on their podcast. Such a powerful time. And the more I got closer to the talk, I realized that actually I was encountering or meeting up against all that was arising. All that was arising that wasn't really in alignment or in the fullest frequency of my dragon self. And I suppose everything that I have to share perhaps might be an invitation for you and as a reflection of what things the dragons might help you to reflect, what they might help you to shake off that are not the truest alignment of who you be. So the closer I got to today's talk, the more I realized just be the most raw and most authentic, and whatever pieces of the stories that I'm here to tell, it will draw in the right people, it will hit the right resonances and frequencies and be the medicine to whoever needs it. So here I am. So let us maybe just ground a little bit, or let me welcome all of you maybe more into this space or me into your space because of all the beautiful energies that are around. I can feel so much fiery energy. I can feel so much rainbow energy. And I know that I intend for my transmission later to be more of a clearing and to be more an inwards song and drum transmission, and perhaps I'm already feeling a lot of that in the field. So I invite us all to take deeper breaths. All the way down, 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 down. Really feeling where we're seated. And really even feeling that you're not just seated on this chair or wherever you are, but right onto the ground, right onto the bosom of Mother Earth. And let everything in this talk, in this sharing, be of potential medicine for you, whatever codes may serve you, whatever transmission frequencies that may help you to activate, to open, to release. And if you do already have your dragon guides or any of your spirit guides and allies and your higher self, your multidimensional self, to welcome, we welcome them into this space. And hold that intention that only the highest possible frequencies of source light be able to come through. May the path of light guide and protect for our greatest good, for your greatest potential, for your greatest healing, and for whatever it is that you need to receive or hear today. And let us take one breath all the way up, as if you're reaching into the heavens. And I'm seeing this visual of this grand tree as it reaches up. And already grounding down into the earth and connected into the sky. Yeah, someone can already feel the drums later, not now. Perhaps it is the heartbeat of the earth. Welcome, welcome everyone. All right. I am always so inspired by all of the dragon speakers and all of the stories, medicine, activations that everyone has to bring. And I think I've heard it so many times today already that we have it within us and that each of us bring different gifts, that each of us have different gifts in this big web, and we're just merely finding our place of belonging. And I love that we just followed on the footsteps of hearing a little bit about archetypes. And I feel that often when I'm speaking to people about dragons, sometimes I just say, you know what, even if you don't believe in dragons, dragon as an archetype, dragon as a symbol. And then people feel like they're able to more easily to accept that medicine, more easily to accept that message. And so I think that archetypes and working with the mythos is so powerful. It really helps us to have certain maps, and just maps, because the map is not the territory, to help us to understand the unfolding of ourselves. So whatever maps work for you. And lately I've been really feeling the power of myth. I'm hoping that everything is still okay because my video looks frozen to me, but is it all good? Just getting a thumbs up from Kelly.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
We can't see you, but your screen just went black.
You froze for a minute, but your voice
How
didn't.
about? Okay, fantastic. That happens sometimes.
Thank you.
My eyes were closed as well, so I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
You stayed, but you were just still on the image.
Okay.
Keep going. You got this.
All right, coming back. So I was talking about myth and how powerful it has been for me sometimes just to work with a particular guide. Like I mentioned that I love Kelly's background of the rose, and she's talking about Sophia and the mother line. And, some of my talk today is absolutely about that, about motherhood, about the archetype of mother and all of the shadows and the light of what that archetype holds. And so much of my unfolding and blossoming into and deepening into around dragons has been about this. Okay, we're working with the mythos, we're working with the archetype of dragon. So what is it helping me to learn about myself? And I think, as much as I love going into the esoterics of dragon and dragon lore and all of the stuff, like I find it particularly helpful also to come back to the groundedness of, okay, so how does that help me in my life? How does that help me day to day? Because going to meet someone and saying, oh, hi, I'm a dragon. I know that over here, that would be totally fine. And you'd get that. And we would probably understand, okay, so what does that actually mean? But I think to the average person, maybe not. So I really like to work with dragon in the sense of understanding, okay, if it's about power, well, what does power actually mean? And what does it look like in my everyday? Okay, we're working with magic. Well, what is magic? What does that look like on an everyday? And all of these kind of themes. So I want to come back to the mother. I want to come back to the mother as the archetype and why I'm using that as the entryway into, I guess, this story, my story, one of the stories. I've spoken about how I met dragons before. I've maybe in last year's talk, maybe in one of the dragon talks. And actually the name Katara Usually I don't put the accent, but I was inspired to. That is actually my dragon name. But meeting dragon was the beginning of really facing the truths, really facing how to hold that truth, that integrity, how to meet all of the aspects of the I am presence, how to embody, how to be that frequency of dragon. And again, what does that look like on an average day? What does that look like on an average day? And since dragon has come into my life, both as spirit ally, as self, dragon self, and as my son as well, and we have certainly lots of karma together, it has completely toppled my world upside down. In fact, I think I heard Anusha Ra mention the dark night of the soul, and I think I'm still in it. Actually, I think I'm so still in it that I don't even know when I'm right side up or upside down. That to be able to bundle my gifts into an offering, into who I be and what I am doing and offering, like actually, since going through and trespassing the birth portal, sometimes I feel like I have not a clue of who I be. And that power of the dragon, which still walks alongside me, is around me, is with us, is what gives me strength to trust, which gives me strength to be safe in this womb of co-creation with the universe. They remind me in their thundering voices that this is it, and I have been here before. You have been here before, in these moments of the unknown, in these moments in which you are just at the edge and precipice of birthing something. You have been here before, and at these great times of transition, of evolution, of elevation to be the next version of yourself. I think that they are here walking alongside us and guiding us in these big upheavals, but they are breakthroughs and not breakdowns. And I don't know, like for all that are listening in, whether you are a dragon sister or brother, whether you are just new to the dragons or you have been teaching them and walking alongside them for years, I think that we meet new allies and new beings, and we meet the dragons when we need their medicine, when they are needed, when their power, when their strength, when their magnificence is here as a cosmic mirror to help reflect back to us just who we are. And so I really have, I think, welcomed them to help me walk now in the dark. And in that actual literal portal of birth as well, in which motherhood felt like another initiation, yes, into mothering and all that being a mother means. But everything is about examining self. Everything was about examining into identities. Everything was about examining, like a mirror was held up to me, of where I have given power, given things away. Because, we might talk a lot about reclaim your real self, reclaim your voice, reclaim your intuitive and mystic self, right? So if we have to reclaim, it means we've given it up, we've forgotten about it, or other stuff is just taking up space, maybe. And I certainly feel that, again, working with myth, working with the narratives that we are potentially telling ourselves and our conditioning, whatever they may be it our childhood, our religious, our spiritual views, we have to make room to release all that is ready to, and in the way of accessing more of our true self, accessing more of our highest self, accessing more of our dragon self. So this book that I'm working on, Dragon Mother Phoenix Daughter, which I'm working very slowly on, but in due time, it feels like a transmission of, sure, my own healings, my own stories, but a lot of remembrances. I see that my video probably is going on and off.
You're still here. Keep going.
Great. So the book is really about the continuous fire that we walk through and the selves that we release and grow out of, evolve out of, the phoenix part, so that we can step into. And I almost see it like a toroidal field, almost. Kind of, we are growing and blossoming inside out, inside out, inside out, and it's always like, this movement is what I feel is happening. And so I want to share a drum journey first. I come to a place I feel in my power. I come to a place I feel in my most truest and authentic space. Sometimes and mostly without words, because it's allowing the sounds and the frequencies to flow through. And my intention is to offer this song and drum transmission to hold the space, to allow for perhaps something that you need to see, perhaps something that you are ready to transmute, or perhaps just a whimsical journey with spirit, or whatever it is that you need to experience. So if you are here on this talk, or if you are listening, I ask that you set an intention. Perhaps some of you are hoping to meet dragons still, or learn something else about your dragon self. And I trust in the dragons and all my allies, and I trust in spirit to allow the frequencies to flow through. So hopefully the audio will not have any issue. And I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And if you're able to have your head rested back and not have to hold yourself upright, that would be great. But if you cannot, that is also okay. And if you can allow that breath to have an even longer exhale. And hold the intention in your heart of whatever it is that you desire at this moment. In working with the dragons, let the beat of my drum remind you that there is the heartbeat of the earth. Oh, Mayashiakane, and we can be one with her. We are one. And if you've done journeys before, perhaps you'd like to start in your usual place. And if you do not have a usual place, you can just imagine yourself in a wide open field. And in the wide open field, to begin to be aware of all of your psychic senses, of all of your inner senses. Your inner knowing, seeing, hearing, tasting, feeling. And let the sounds and frequencies be aware of what it is that you experience. And the instruction is simple, to simply notice what you notice. Aniansa yasuaki yakam manianaka yase o me yasanta yano. Hey, I see yana Iya sa iya ta 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 re ya sho hey ya ito asi ito give yourself the utmost permission to just allow. And if you get lost in what you're seeing or what you are not seeing, then just go into the drum beat. Nanate, yanyate, yanyante, yanyante, yanyanta, yanyanta, soke. Perhaps there are things or versions of yourself that you are meeting in this space. Perhaps they are old versions of you, old energies, old friends, old objects. Notice all the symbols and all the things that you encounter. Symbolism is rich in this place. Notice where these memories are stored within your body. Yasa, yasa, hey, yasa, hey, yasa, hey, yaso. Yansa, yanto. And in this place I feel that there is things to reclaim, power objects, power pieces. Perhaps for some of you it's actually pieces of soul, things that you are ready to remember and bring back into your everyday, bring back into your field, bring back into your light body. Feels like there's a warrior call to access, to tap into a place. Let me correct that. An energy available to you, be it from a past life, an alternate life, another universe, a place where you can access, have more access to more power, more of yourself. Maybe in shamanic terms, I might call this a soul retrieval, but just imagine that wherever you are, whatever you see, whatever you feel, that there is something to retrieve. And that whenever you feel that you have touched into that, to use the breath to help bring it back. I want you to use the breath again. Again, I'm seeing the toroidal field around you. Breathe in, bring that breath down to where you're seated. Allow it to go right into the core of the earth. And as if it fills up, somehow reaching up around the sides of you, all the way back around and around and around, all the way up to the skies, and it curls back down and down your center line. And if it is convenient for you to do so, I invite you to actually open your palms so that they face each other, kind of like you're holding a big beach ball in front of you. You can keep your eyes closed. You can cup your palms just lightly and feel that field in between your hands. As we concentrate, as we focus this energy running through your toroidal field, your torus, and in fact, I want you to take your breath there. So inhale. And as you exhale, just imagine that the breath goes into that donut shape through your central channel and then through that space in between your hands. And notice the physical sensations between your hands. And observe with all your senses of how your field is. Okay, I want you to now tune into, imagine the toroidal field of the earth, and that your torus field aligns with that of the earth. Tuning back in with her. And all that is available through her medicine, and the visuals I'm getting is actually a deep, deep connection into inner earth, maybe the inner dragons, the inner earth dragons if you work with them. But really the earth energy, our earth mother. And the power that we are able to resource simply by our connection, our reconnection back into her. All right, one more attunement, and I want you to imagine, sense, feel like you're tapping into the even larger toroidal field of this galaxy, of the Milky Way. And as if you can see the alignment of your little field with that of the earth, with that of the Milky Way. And again, just notice the energy that is between your hands. And if you so perceive what that feels like, if you so perceive what is the frequencies and energies of the stars that run through you, for it is all available actually in our field. And I invite you to note, to write down if you would like, and to remember what and if you brought something back from this space. And whenever you are ready to do so, you can open your eyes. I might continue to talk a little. Being with drum, being with song is my easiest way that I have been able to connect with my dragons, with my dragon self. I often actually catch myself doing this sway whenever I'm connecting into dragon energy. And so I think it's important to mention that everyone has a different access point and different ways that we find it easier to connect. For you, maybe it is song and dance, maybe it is movement, maybe it is through art. And I know that every time I open and allow myself to just be the transmission, to be the channel, it's like I don't control, I release, I relinquish the control and allow the frequencies to flow through. And I often get the visuals, and they help inform me of what dragons, what spirit is here to tell me. And these days, as I say, I am asking for what is it that I'm letting go of so that I can be more of myself? What is it that I'm letting go of so that I can be more in my authentic power? And it isn't an easy journey. As I said, it is walking hand in hand with these beautiful, magnificent beings of, yes, I am a dragon as well, but knowing that this too shall pass. Knowing that we are the portal, that we are the change that we wish to see. But it is all happening, and it's all happening for us. And that the story, which I haven't focused on, but of Ryu, of my son, of the dragon being literally born from my womb, reminds me that we are all creator beings. We are. But the first thing that we are birthing over and over and over again is ourself. The identities that we release and the energies that we step into, that we allow, that we can access. Because if you asked me whatever number of years ago about dragons, I'd say, yeah, it's all lore, it's all fairy tale. But I've always loved the dragons. In fact, I don't remember much of my childhood, but I remember Puff the Magic Dragon. I used to love reading those childhood books, and I've always loved fantasy movies. All the dragon movies, all the Harry Potters, and, Lord of the Rings, and all the things. So I think no matter how dragon comes to you, I come back to, some of the big archetypes of dragon energy, right? Power, transformation, or alchemy, magic. We all have that within us. So what is your magic? What is your unique signature? What is dragon helping you on this journey? Because it is so important not to just get carried away in the glamour of it all. Oh, I'm a dragon, like, cool. Like, what does that mean? What are you doing? What's your dragon self doing in the world? Like, how can that help people? And I've these wonderful speakers, which I've had the pleasure of some working with them, holding space together, being on each other's talks and things. Like, it's so cool to be connected into a dragon family. It is. And seeing all the ways in which we can express our light and just be in the world. So I don't know yet how my offerings will change, but surely, it will continue.
Someone asked a question. Do you mind taking it? I'll just mention it.
Yeah, sure.
Was that a song or channeled light language? They're asking what you
Yeah,
just gave. Would you like to talk about that a little
sure,
bit?
sure. I think words can be very limiting. It is light language, but we're all, speaking, and we are light language, right? So even the hand movements can be your light language. I used to call it more toning. So it is a little bit of both. As I'm more worked with really focusing on, let's say, activating and being aware of light language, I often call it light language, but I also just call it song transmission. I also call it energy transmission. I also call it toning. When I studied with my shamanic teachers, he was so against all light language. He hated the term. He hated all things with, ETs, and because they're not all bad. So there was no light anything. So that teacher called everything toning. So whatever works for you. I think that when we are connected to our expression using our vocals, it is an expression of ourselves, and we can call that the soul language, and we can call that light language. That is what I think. Thunderstorms. Yes, hopefully you can catch all that. So I'm curious if anybody would like to share on what happened in the transmission or in that. I will also, so if anyone wants to comment or raise your hand, I will speak a little bit about the book, because I think the idea didn't come from my mind. It really came when I was in this year-long container in a shamanic woman craft container. And as I tune in every so often, as I get the cover art done, which I believe my dragon brother might be on this Zoom as well. I commissioned it to be a channeled piece, and it's just stunning because it spoke so accurately to the energy that I'm trying to convey. And I realized that everything about this book is a transmission, just like each of you are. Just like each of you are. It's a transmission of energies that through story, through word, through song can be felt on the other side. And that's what I mean about allowing people, places, things, recordings, the talks to be a mirror to help you. What did that person help me to reflect about myself? About me coming back into that powerful alignment of who I be.
We have a question or a person who's raised their hand.
Yes,
You can
please.
unmute yourself,
Hey,
Melania.
Hello.
thank
Go
you.
ahead.
I'm just trying to figure out how to take my hand down.
You're good.
You can keep
It'll
it
come
up.
down.
There we
It
go.
would go down
Yay.
automatically.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share my experience. Thank you so much for doing that transmission, um, toning, light language, all of it. So this was kind of interesting. So the first time I met you was in a different group, and this is kind of my second experience really hearing your voice and in a live interaction. And um, I notice on my end, I can actually hear crystalline frequencies when you speak. I've never heard this with anyone else before, but it's like the sound of like if you like drop a penny on the floor, except much brighter, like a or like if you were
Crystal
to ring.
drops.
It's literally like a crystal drop. It's like it's higher pitched and it's more has more clarity and facets than um than ringing a bell, but it sounds like a crystal. It's the only way I can describe it. But I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but or if it's a clear sense or something. But I kept hearing it like relatively frequently throughout the transmission. And it's like the minute you set up the field and said ground into the earth, I had a frequency come through my ear and it was like ding, like this high pitch. And it was
Yeah.
like, okay, getting the downloads already. So
Yes.
that was really interesting. And then also during the experience, I brought in an aspect of myself that is a dragon that I've never met before, which is really interesting to me because I've like my house is like surrounded by dragons, and I also identify as a dragon as one multidimensional aspect. But knowing that there's so many different multidimensional layers and dimensions of different groups of dragons, this one I don't know who or what it was, but I mean it's me, but I brought through my own dragon tongue, which I've never heard before. So that was a really cool experience.
Yeah. And do you speak light language?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Well,
it was so different than anything that I've ever spoken.
yeah. Well, light language activates light language, I guess.
Right.
And I think, in the medicine of frequencies and resonance, it's like there are always little bits and pieces. It's like that resonance, right? Like a tuning fork. So whatever frequencies I'm bringing through, it's hit and caught onto that one of yours and activated, if you want to call it that. Like that's how I experience it when I listen to other people. Sometimes there's like just no resonance, right? Even if they say they're speaking dragon light language, whatever, right? It's like saying there's a million healers out there and they're all powerful and can really help people shift, but not everyone's your cup of tea. So why? So sometimes it's our soul story. Sometimes, we know each other. Sometimes to me, there just isn't a resonance. So there's an aspect of me that's reflected, I guess, to you. Maybe you hear it as this, crystalline frequency. Maybe you experience it as this part of your dragon self. I
That's so
feel.
interesting. And I do,
Oh,
I mean, I'm very diligent about setting up my own field and my own boundary and space that I'm only allowing in the frequencies that are here to support, because I've heard a lot of light languages before and different, transmissions, and not everything is everyone's cup of tea. And if we all received all the frequencies of all the things, it would just be a cacophony,
oh, totally, totally. So, like
Thank you.
you just experience and you allow, and if it's for you, it will come through. I believe setting boundaries maybe, but like I say, filters. If it's meant for me, it'll come through for me
Right.
and you. Like that's what I mean.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I see that Elijah's on. So Elijah is one of, we met in another dragon group, and he is a beautiful artist and channel. So he's channeled my beautiful art piece for this book that I'm mentioning. So I just wanted to give him a shout out for that. Uh, and also that, all the light language and all the transmissions and all the sharing of dragon codes and dragon stories will be such a huge spectrum, such a huge range, because there's just everything under the sun, right? And you think that you've met a rainbow dragon and then you meet another one and it's like completely different. So, and I know I experienced this myself. It's like, oh, but I think I'm a white dragon. Oh, but I think I'm a black dragon. Oh, but I'm also a rainbow dragon. Well, maybe we are a little bit of everything, but in our lifetime that there are certain pathways, timelines, aspects of self that are more destined to be activated or remembered in us. Yes,
We have another one. Yes, please,
please.
if you can, if you're able to turn on your video as well. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hello.
Go for it.
Thanks so much for that. That was me with the questions and about the light language versus the song.
Yep.
Because interestingly, so I've also been channeling like dragon light language. It's just been coming to me. I don't really do it for anybody else. But this morning, I was singing something that sounded very similar to what you were just singing. So I think that's really fun.
Yay.
And so I was wondering if this was like I'm like super excited right now. Like a memory of like knowing that song through like a shamanic life in the past,
Totally.
or
Yeah.
if it's just I'm channeling it because it's in my field because I was meant to hear it like later on in the day. So that's
I feel like when I started exploring light language, and like some people say, oh, I'm channeling the Pleiadians or I'm channeling that. And then I think, oh, should they sound the same? And I don't know the answer to that because I never, went down that rabbit hole. But I feel that all of us can connect to the Pleiadians, the Lyrians, the whatever, but how it comes through probably will still be through our channel, right? Or through our experiences. So if my song feels familiar and that you've heard it before, believe me, you are not the first person to tell me that. So actually, I just heard my husband come back home with our son. When I first sang to him, and it was in the early days, when we just met. And I remember leaving him a voice note, and it was like, I don't know, 30 seconds. And I just sang, something. And then he replied, and he's like, I've heard that song before. I'm like, yeah, of course you have. So I think there are remembrances within us, but I guess I would go one level deeper in saying, so what is that song helping me to remember? What is it actually activating? And as you sing for yourself, as you channel for yourself, then ask the question, okay, so what is that telling me? So when I was experimenting more with my light language, so not now because I don't know if I'll listen to my transmission again, maybe, I'll actually listen to myself again and ask, like, okay, or perceive, right, as the witness as well, like what was happening. But if you listen to it again, if you receive it again, I believe that the information probably can still change because keep evolving, or you have a different aspect. It's like looking at the same information from a different angle. Those who pick it can channel it. So Lawrence is another dragon brother. I know that he speaks many light languages as well. It will come out regardless of how many mediums are conscious. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. So I definitely don't, say or claim that I speak X number of light languages. I feel like I just speak one, which is mine. So it does sound different. So sometimes it might sound more like my shamanic self, But I reckon that that's probably because I'm channeling more from a place where I'm familiar with. I feel like there are aspects of myself that I'm more grounded into, that I'm more comfortable. And it too, on the outside, maybe it feels like particular kinds of sounds. But another way, I have other sounds that I maybe feel a bit more weird making those noises, and therefore I don't. So I know that my melodious light language is much more fluid for me than my verbal like, you know, like I don't know, like I feel a bit of resistance in the spoken light language. So maybe that, you know, might help some of you that are experimenting and trying. So I think that light language is a beautiful way to access more of your soul self, and again, to connect to dragons if that's what you want to do. And that we have more than just our dragon guides, right? But here we are at the Dragon Thunder Summit, so I'm going to be speaking about that. And I have, thank you, Kelly, for sharing all the links. You can find me on Instagram as Awakening Dragons. And I feel, you know, like there's many in my field, and that even just having that emblem, right, like the archetype, the dragon leading the way, it will call the people that are ready to work with dragon. And therefore that means ready to work with your truth, ready to work with power, ready to work with your integrity, ready to live from the heart. And so much of my book theme, so I think, because it hasn't fully written itself yet, is like the tenets or the principles of, well, what does it mean to be a dragon mother? What does it mean to be able to live in this way, to be the kind of mother that is needed in the world right now? There's this book I read a long time ago, and I would love Lawrence to share as well, which was called something like the Tiger Mom. I don't know, like it was talking about, you know, the really demanding Asian kind of parents and growing up in Americas, you know, you had the violin lessons, the soccer lessons, the whatever, like just really the overachiever. And that's definitely the kind of childhood that I had. And one of my final chapters of my book is going to be titled something like The Dragon Mother is a New Tiger Mom. And I mean it in the way of, yeah, okay, you can demand and be asking for excellence. But I think that excellence in this time of the golden era is also being connected to our intuitive self, is actually drawing upon our gifts and understanding that it is not about the I, but about the we. I believe that the characteristics of the new dragon mother is raising the, you know, crystalline children, rainbow children, I don't know what they're called now, the 5D children, you know, like we have to be different. We have to live and walk proudly in our intuitive nature, in our dragon ways, as a symbol and as real dragons as well. So that really is the theme of the book. And later, I think, or I can share it as well, it's whenever it's launched, I think the first 100 people to opt in, I'm just going to share a free ebook. So I'll find that link after. If Lawrence is on, I'd love to hear, you mentioned both of my light language formats. Interesting. Did you want to comment more on that, or you don't have to? I just thought that was interesting for you to say that. Yeah. All right, what else? And anybody else want to share anything or ask any questions? Just love the way they sound. Yes.
Yay.
Yes, go ahead, Kelly.
I was going to ask you to talk a little bit real quick about Phoenix. What inspired that part in your title of your book?
Yes, I would love to talk about that. So I'm going to just grab these two links over here. Makes sense. I feel that I have connected to Phoenix way before Dragon. Phoenix has always been with me. Like, I think one of my earliest tattoos, and you know, and that's always a sign, right? Like when you want to get tattooed something, it's like, oh, that's probably your spirit guide. Anyways, I've had Phoenix for ages. And what's interesting is actually even the tattoo of Phoenix has evolved over time. I changed it, I added color to it, became a rainbow Phoenix. So I understood walking through the fire. I understood, you know, this thing of constant change. I understood this thing of like, you know, rising from the ashes. Like I feel like I really understood and I understand the medicine of Phoenix. And interestingly, for those who might be a little bit familiar with Asian culture, the phoenix and the dragon is the ultimate yin and yang. So if I had been journeying and walking alongside Phoenix for a long time, maybe now I can actually be with my own inner yin and yang, the Phoenix energy and the dragon. And yes, okay, they could mean the masculine, the feminine, but I see them as just as archetypes of different energy. But to become the dragon mother and to become this version that I'm still stepping into and that I don't know what the finished will look like, because I don't know if it ever will, it's also embracing Phoenix at the same time. It's always being able to walk through the fire. And in saying that, I often experience that in a lot of my transmissions and a lot of my drum stuff and a lot of the processes I facilitate through one-on-one work, group things, and drum making as a process, as a medicine process. It is always about, shadow stuff. It is always about releasing. It is about, just stepping out of the old. You cannot keep one hand here and one hand here. And I see this visual of, like the trapeze people on in the circus. You have to let go to catch on to the new thing. So Phoenix medicine really teaches me a lot of that often. Even in the dragon realms of becoming, like you have to be able to let go. And I feel that as I'm learning and unfolding more of myself, I really need to tap into the Phoenix energy at the same time. Otherwise, there's no room to take any more. It's like, especially as a mom, it's like I'm at capacity. I got to let go of something else. Something else has got to go. So that's how I experience the Phoenix energy, really more in an embodied sense, because it's like I don't need to be like, I call on Phoenix. Like I feel like it just happens. I'm done with that. Okay, let go. I'm done with that. I feel. I mean, maybe others, you might perceive to say she has issues letting go. I don't know.
I think there was something that really happened for me in the beginning of this last year with the Phoenix, but it was really specifically the white Phoenix that came in. And
Yes.
I changed my logo to it and moved into it fully with my Cherokee line. The Cherokee people took on the symbol of the Phoenix as part of
Mm,
their medicine, and it's their emblem.
mm.
And they're Palladian people. The Cherokee come from the
Okay.
Pleiades. And it's a very interesting thing, that dynamic with the White Phoenix was about purity. And I do think it's something moving us at this time into something, relative to the unifying consciousness and all of the changing of everything going on in our world. So I love that you're using that in your book, and I relate to the Phoenix a lot. And way before dragons, I was playing with phoenixes too, but I didn't have a tattoo. Still have some tattoos.
Well, you should see my dragon one. But you mentioned the white phoenix, and in fact, it is the white phoenix energy that's part of this energy in the book. And
Good.
I am also an author in a multi-author book, which I was only attracted to literally because the publishing house is called She Rises, and it was about and it's called Phoenix, but Phenix. And so I had a contribution, a small chapter, and I just channeled the white phoenix. So there was the opening invocation, was that. So yes, the phoenix energy is very much part of me. I shared 2 links. One is simply if you would like the book when it comes out, and the second is to the beautiful art piece that is the cover. And I think I do have it here. I'll actually share I've called it an invocation. Elijah, if you want to comment, I will welcome you to do so just after. But if I can, I'm just going to read the 13 lines that is the channeled message that came with this artwork, which really has been an opening, has been a pillar to help me to bring through whatever codes is going to come through. So for the last minute, if you'd like to feel the energy that comes through here, and then I ask if Elijah wants to pop in and say hi. The first pulse of creation, the crystalline matrix of rainbow light. The dragon mother heart beats at the center of all becoming. And from the helices of her golden scaled womb rises the eternal flame, a fire, a flower, neither and both. She is the primordial birther of codes, the original dreamer, the sculptor of protection and resurrection. Her heartbeat is the current that births stars and galaxies. Her tender diamond heart takes form, and with every gaze into this sacred mandala, a veil is lifted, a soul is remembered, a lineage reawakens, a divine universe is created. She is the great mother of light, and she is the source of sacred creation. She is the dragon mother, and her heart is your own. So I do want to share that that is actually channeled by Elijah. If you would like to, there we go. Hi Elijah, did you want to just, there's a minute left. I do want to share your art, so I put the post to your gallery, but he's a beautiful artist and singer as well. Please have a look at the gallery and have a look into the visual of this.
Thank you. Thank you, Katara. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you. It's beautiful. Go for it.
Yeah.
Elijah,
So
we are
so
ready
we've
for
got, yeah,
mm-hmm.
Karen is, yeah, Cara, you get the break.
Get ready for our next one. Yes. Thank you, Katara Sky.
Thank you. Big thank you
Wonderful
to
share.
everyone for all the organization, for the
Thank you,
hosting, for the
darling.
beautiful guests. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you for your share, darling. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Always special to have you be with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for journeying with us today on the English Mystic Podcast, Dragon Thunder Summit 2025 edition. This is just one voice, one frequency in a greater dragon symphony, each echoing across the earth right now. If you felt the stir in your heart, if you heard a whisper from your dragon allies, then the work is beginning. Be sure to explore all 36 epic speakers and their transmissions by heading over to the website www.dragonthunder2025.com, where the portal is open. Until next time, walk boldly with your dragons, speak your truth like fire, and may your path be guided by the ancient winds. Stay mystical, stay wild, stay dragon aligned. This is the English Mystic. See you next time.
In the realm where spirits dance, where dragons soar with fiery glance, a song of power, strength untold, for human hearts, for young and old. Wings that span the starry night, scales that gleam with ancient light. Dragons rise, guardians bold, tales of healing, tales untold. Almighty ones, wise and grand, protectors of this sacred land. With breath of fire, a timeless art, they heal and mend each wounded heart. Through shadows deep and forests wide, they guide us with a noble stride. In the dance of life, a sacred chance to heed the call of dragon trance. Scale by scale, a shield they weave. In the moonlit night, their magic breathe. Whispers of protection, strong and true. In the realm where dreams come true. So gather round, O kin of earth. Let the dragon's melody give birth to healing streams and fiery light, as we journey through the shaman's night. O dragons, ancient and divine, your friendship like the stars will shine. In the tapestry of life, a song we weave with spirits, dragons, hearts, believe